Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to It's Always Sunny in Phoenix, the only Phoenix Suns podcast that had the pleasure of talking to Eddie Johnson's older sister today.
Hi, everyone. My name's Mitch, and I just want to share the story of how that happened. So the three of us are all in the same place for the first time. Did a little vacation down to Phoenix. We're going to the game tonight, and we went to a burrito place called Rubio's, which was great. And as we were walking to go outside and sit down, I was wearing a Steve Nash jersey, of course. And, someone just stopped me and said, "Oh, you a big Suns fan?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And turned out her name was Rena, and she's Eddie Johnson's sister. So she introduced herself, I introduced myself. We talked about the team a little bit, said, we're big fans of Eddie. And it was really cool. She was a super nice lady, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, moral of the story is that we're BFFs with Eddie now. So
Yeah.
Basically.
See, we're going to give you an inside scoop here. It's unknown if Eddie will be broadcasting tonight's game against the Thunder. It's because he's moving.
Yeah.
Even his sister couldn't get a hold of him. So that's some low-key stuff. We're dropping it here.
You
Pretty
heard it
big
here
deal.
first.
So it's a spoiler alert, but it's not, because by the time this actually goes up, the game will already been played. And it'll be 2 games after.
You know what, David? Those are just details.
Just for time reference, it's Friday, March 3rd, and we're going to the game against the Thunder.
There we go. Okay. And you know what? If you're anything like Eddie Johnson's older sister and you want to talk to us, you can get a hold of us on Twitter at SunnyandPHXPod. Check us out on Facebook under the name Phoenix Suns, multiple sources. And please feel free to send any comments or suggestions or questions our way through email at sunnyandphxpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, and I do want to preface this real quick. If we are a little echoey, don't really complain, because have you ever listened to a Bill Simmons podcast? All the people on the phone sound terrible and are way too quiet. So, we're a little echoey. We're all together. That's it. Leave us alone. Leave me alone. Go away. Don't, please.
Just enjoy the fact that we're all together as much as we enjoy it. And, it brings up a very important point. When you go on vacation, you got to pack. And when you go to Phoenix, there's a few things you got to bring. You got to bring a swimsuit. You got to bring sandals, all that good stuff. You got to bring t-shirts. And speaking of t-shirts, you can head over to tpublic.com/user/sunnyinphx, and you can get yourself 3, 4, 5 t-shirts that say the cheese is warming up or Sunny in PHX, and have one for every day you're down here. Go golfing in one, go to a game in one, hang out in one, whatever you want to do.
And with all the color options we have on the website, you could get a different color for each day, so no one will be giving you funny looks. So you can rock a purple one day, orange the next. So you got options with our t-shirts.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing one right now.
That's right, under the Nash jersey.
Yes, and I will be alternating during the game, so be prepared for that.
Some free advertising while we're at the game.
Be prepared in the past.
Exactly.
So go tell your past self to be prepared for this.
Like I said earlier, those are just details. We're just having fun. So. All right, let's hop into this, and let's go back to last week in our game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And to start things off, I'll be honest here, Devin Booker may have flopped a little bit.
Boo, kick Charlie off the podcast.
I said may have. So he may have flopped a little bit after receiving that high elbow from Vince Carter. But at the time on the court, it looked pretty bad. So no one from the Suns really seemed to care too much about it. No one got up in his face other than...
Chris did a little bit of talking.
But then we saw Alex Len do kind of what you'd assume Alex Len would do in a physical situation. He just walked up and smacked the ball out of Carter's hands, and that was about it.
Ultimate sign of disrespect.
But anyways, let's hear. Here's a quote from what Coach Watson said right after that game. He said, "We have to find some players in free agency or the first chance we get who can protect our top offensive players. That has to happen. If not, Book is going to see a lot of elbows. It's the reason Kobe went out and got Ron Artest and Matt Barnes. It's the reason why Jordan went out and got guys who could protect him. Who's going to protect our young guys? It's the situation we're in. We have to find a guy who can come in and make another team think twice about doing that. That should be our top priority for us moving forward." So what do you guys think about this? Is the enforcer still a role that needs to be in today's NBA? Or do we just need to have our big guys play a little aggressive, just even on defense? Defensively, maybe put a hurt on a guy taking it to the hoop. We don't need cheap shots or anything, but what are you guys feeling about it?
Yeah, first things first. Technically, Kobe didn't bring in our test. Our test kind of barged into Kobe's shower after the game, which makes it just an even better story if you go back. But, it's a good thing because we do have an enforcer. His name's PJ Tucker.
But wait, not anymore.
Oh.
Did you forget already?
What's happened in the last 2 weeks? I've been in a coma.
Yeah, rather would have been, but it does hurt missing PJ. He was the one guy on our team that he had some beef on him. He had that attitude. No one wanted to mess with PJ. You see the guys act tough, but when it came down to it, no one wants to get in a tussle with PJ. So we're missing out on that right now. We got Alex Len. He's a big guy.
Technically,
he's a big guy. He's 7'1",
Yeah.
And then, but on the roster right now, I think if we have an enforcer, it's Alan Williams, Big Sauce. But maybe Big Sauce is a little too nice to be the tough guy on the court.
How can you hate Big Sauce though?
It's not hate. It's a compliment. He's
no,
nice.
like an enforcer, creates hate in other fan bases.
Oh, okay.
Big Sauce is impossible to hate.
So. Yeah, everyone loves Big Sauce.
I don't know. After you get jacked up by Big Sauce and he throws an elbow in your chin, are you gonna like him though?
I mean, I would, but
you would. You're into that. Okay. But so, do you think a guy on the roster could be this guy, or do you think we're gonna look for a man? I don't know. We just dropped Sullinger. I bet he could have laid some wood on somebody, but. What do you think?
Off the bench?
Yeah. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Are we going to find a guy like that, or does someone just need to fill it?
Well, I mean, Earl makes a great point, of course, but I just don't know how necessary it is, especially because Booker is starting to get these superstar foul calls, like in that game against the Bulls on the last second shot. I don't know if that was really a foul. So
technically a foul. Not one that they normally call.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seeing him starting to get those calls gives me hope if we don't do something like this. I would like to see someone who's already on the roster step up and fill that role, even if it is Len, because
he needs to do something.
He's got to do. Yeah, exactly. Like what's going to happen this offseason if he just continues doing what he's doing? I don't think it's going to be too good for him.
Yeah, I don't know. My first inclination is to say Tyson. He's our vet. He's all those things. Tyson has way too much respect for everyone in the league, and everyone has too much respect for him. He's just not really that enforcer guy. It's just not really in his nature. Another guy, I mean, Dudley can be fiery and all those kind of things, but he's more of against the officials than against other teams. So that'd be my next thing. I think we do need someone. The thing is, the person that brought that edge was PJ, and we traded him.
Yep.
So we can't have it both ways of going and bringing in a veteran for have an enforcer type role, but also not wanting to bring in a veteran that really would lose impact if he wasn't on a playoff team.
Okay, you brought up a good point, and you said that the respect that other players have for Tyson and the respect Tyson has for other players, maybe he wouldn't be considered the enforcer, but isn't that what this is really about? Just gaining the respect of other players and other teams? I mean, we haven't had Tyson on the floor when this stuff has been going down. Is he enough of just a presence there to maybe keep some tempers a little more calm when it comes to that?
That could be an argument. I mean, if we looked back, if there was some stat on Basketball Reference that said number of times there's been a technical foul against Chris or whatever while Tyson Chandler's been on the floor.
That'd be good to know, yeah.
That'd be a really good statistic, but maybe him not being on the floor and just being on the bench is part of that. I don't think it is. I think that he is still just as vocal as he is. I think if he was on the floor, maybe he would tell the guys because of that mutual respect, come on, let's just cool it a bit. But I don't think it's changing the way that some of these altercations are going down.
Okay, this just came to me. This is how we fix the problem. Marquise Chris goes on the big sauce diet, the patented big sauce diet. And Marquise Chris gets up to about 260 next season, and he keeps the attitude he has, but now he just has something to back it up with. I think that has to be the plan of attack.
Yeah, I think that's the answer.
The show is brought to you by the Big Sauce Diet. The Big Sauce Diet is filled with protein and carbohydrates and
carbohydrates.
Whatever.
I'm saying like protein, carbs, and carbs.
Just more carbs.
More carbs.
I would like to see Tyler Ulis do the same as well, actually.
Bulk up to 260.
They'll just roll around on the court. Make Kyle Lowry look
still
thin.
Better defense than Brandon Knight.
Oh. All right, hey, you know what? That's perfect. Let's go into talking about just the state of the team right now. It looks like we're embracing the tank now. We've seen every game since the All-Star break. We haven't seen Tyson Chandler on the court. We haven't seen Brandon Knight on the court. But in turn of that, we're seeing great minutes out of Ulis, Allen Williams, and even Derek Jones Jr. So something I noticed last night while we were watching the Hornets game is just the way we're moving right now. It seems like we're a very fluid team right now, and especially when we have Ulis on the court. I think once we get into next season, something has to give a little bit, because I don't know if Bledsoe pick and rolls is a formula for a playoff team. So I don't know. Even though we've won one game since the break, we spanked the Hornets. We shot almost 60% from the floor. Pretty great stuff, but
close against the Bulls, went to overtime.
Right.
Close against the Bucks.
Right. So I don't know. Personally, I'm just really liking what we're seeing out of the team. Yeah, we're getting chippy with others, but we're finally getting the chance to build our young guys. And so what do you guys think about that in general? And what do you think about how are Knight and Chandler doing sitting on the end of the bench each night? What do you think about that too?
Well, to talk about the game first, one thing we talked about while watching it is it's nice to see all that ball movement and movement off the ball be so fluid, because we've had issues with that in the past. And it's very apparent that Earl Watson is from the Spurs school of thought. And it's nice when we can get that to click every once in a while. But for the bench, I don't think Brandon Knight is happy, whether he's showing it or not. Because we did see him smiling on the bench last night, but I don't think he's happy. Chandler, I'm sure he's happy to be getting an extended All-Star break. Like, he's tired. You know he's tired. He's been working so hard this season, and he's still getting paid and getting an extra break. I wouldn't complain if I were him.
What do you think about what if Chandler does come back into the rotation soon, but Knight is still not getting back into it? Would you get? Would you be as happy as I would to see that?
Do I want to say that I'd be happy?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with a dumb smile on my face thinking of getting Tyson Chandler's rebounds while not having to play Brandon Knight. So yeah, no, I'd be really happy about that.
Well, and the best way to raise Brandon Knight's trade value is to have him stay on the bench.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe they'll just forget about the first 2/3 of the season. They'll just forget all about it, and then maybe, Brandon Knight, yeah, he's on the Suns roster. Maybe we can pick him up during the off season.
You know, he's a project player.
Kind of.
You know, we're talking about these young guys. I kind of, you mentioned something about this ball movement and stuff. And something that has been apparent is that the ball movement and our best looks, well, kind of Bledsoe's on the bench. Is he now the next, like, odd man out? Because PJ was this presence that was this defensive guy who's going to go take a guy for 40 minutes, play defense on him the entire time. He was an older player that didn't fit into, like, the makeup of our team because of not necessarily how he played on the defensive end, but more because of his offensive end, where there were times where he tried to take ISO possessions. There were times where, like, the ball kind of stopped while he had it. Is Bledsoe the next guy where the ball kind of stops when he has it? Because I'm not saying that I think this or not. It's just an argument to be made that the style of basketball that we're trying to play is counterproductive to Bledsoe's strengths.
Right. Yeah, I really agree with you there. And I'm just thinking about Bledsoe when it comes to keeping him on the team, and then you look back at what happened with Isaiah Thomas and Goran Dragic. You're going to wonder if we get into some sort of situation like that again, trying to make a big decision on a point guard. Maybe that happens if we do land a pick early enough in the draft to get Fultz or Ball or Johnson. We will be getting a pick that early in the draft. So maybe if we get the guy that we like, maybe Bledsoe is expendable. But on the opposite side of that, look at the fiascos that have happened when we got rid of Thomas, and remember how angry everybody was when we got rid of Dragic. I mean, do we want to go through something like that again? Does the front office want to stick their neck out like that again?
It's a tough situation. We're trying to build this family environment and all these things. And, Dudley went and was kind of being vocal without really words with his dumb picture that he tweeted and those kind of things. And people were really upset about the PJ thing, but it's part of, as much as we want to talk about loyalty and all these other things, the family, the business aspect of it is, okay, well, yeah, we can continue to pay this guy a ton of money and millions of dollars but it's not good. It's not getting anywhere.
Right. It's a business before anything else.
Absolutely. And then just looking forward to next year even a little more. Say we land one of these top point guards, then we still have Ulis plus Bledsoe. Ulis looks like a guy that deserves minutes right now. He's getting them finally, and he's paying off. He has a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio over the last few games, which is just fantastic. When's the last time you can say that? Steve Nash, probably.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. There's just so much that we have to be a little patient for as Suns fans here.
Yeah, and the it's 5 games right now. I think that 5-to-1. We don't know while we're recording if he's able to keep that up when it comes to the Thunder or the Celtics game on Sunday. From the Lakers game right before All-Star break to the Charlotte game.
There we go.
Just want to specify.
Thank you.
Still though, he's looked great.
Yeah, he has. I love Tyler Ulis. I feel like I was a big proponent, and you guys agreed with me, about getting him minutes and just cutting Brandon Knight's minutes or trading him or whatever before the season, so that way we could just give Tyler Ulis as many minutes as possible, just because he looked very NBA ready. And even though he's small, he's going to bring it on defense and pass the ball on the offensive end. He's got a little bit of that pull-up jumper. He's not afraid to use that right now.
Right.
And that's looked really nice. And I love watching the team when he's out there. When him and Barbosa are our guards, it might not be the prettiest, but
it's fast.
It's fast. There's ball movement. It's a lot of fun.
It's so scrappy.
Gym rats.
Keeping with the
wrong thing.
Yeah. So keeping with the fluidity that we see with Ulis in there, I feel the exact same way when we have Big Sauce and even Derrick Jones Jr. in there. Jones Jr. is another guy that's not gonna need the ball in his hands, set up a play for him to score the ball. So he's cutting too, and some of his cuts that I've seen, I thought it was TJ. You see that patented TJ backdoor cut, but man, it's been Jones rocking some of those, and he's getting those easy buckets that way. And Sauce is always moving. He's not planted on the post that whole time, even though he will get a few opportunities down on the block. He's moving, and that's different from Len or Chandler. So when we have Sauce in there, this reminds me of the 7 seconds or less Suns a little bit.
Yeah,
we're getting there,
but not quite the quality. But you know what I mean. You know
more
what
of
I mean.
the fun.
7 seconds light.
Yeah,
There
we're thinking more of the fun aspect, not necessarily the quality of team aspect.
Exactly.
One of, I think, the most underrated things in the NBA is the energy big off the bench. He comes in, he's most effective at home, but he'll get those minutes on the road as well. He's going to come in, he's going to be active on the glass, he's not going to look to score, he'll get putbacks, he'll get all those kind of things, but is there to boost the energy of your other bench guys. Matt, when I'm looking at a backup big, it's great to have a Mirza. It's great to have these guys. And I would love to have Mirza next to Big Sauce. But Big Sauce is that dude that's going to go out there and give it 110% each time. And you want those energy guys and you want those energy bigs. The Brandon Wright is kind of a little bit, he's kind of slowed down. Jordan Hill used to be that under Mike D'Antoni. Montrezl Harrell is doing that right now under D'Antoni, where he's being like really just an active big off the bench. It's something that is really underrated, I think, in the NBA. And Big Sauce, I love seeing him because he is that guy.
Yeah, for sure. And those are, like, we're talking about Big Sauce and then Jones Jr. Those are a couple guys I'd like to keep on the team to sit at the end of our bench. Because, Big Sauce is huge for the bench, keeping morale up, getting the fans riled up even. That's great. And then just a guy with Jones's athleticism to be able to bring in. I mean, I'm not lying when I say this. The most fun I've had watching a Suns game in quite a while has been since Jones Jr. is on the team, because you have that anticipation that something's going to go down. And like last night we saw, the Hornets game, we saw Big Sauce just rip the ball from Frank Kaminsky. Might have pulled his arm out of the socket in the process, but then a nice outlet pass and then a huge one-handed oop to Derrick Jones Jr. Man, that was fun. And just that fun hasn't been there much.
Right. Well, and Jones Jr., he's very aptly nicknamed Airplane Mode. He is always on airplane mode. He is always ready to dunk. Like, when he boxes out, you can see him loading up to, like, put it back, even if the ball goes the opposite direction. And I love that he's just always ready, because when that one or two opportunities come, he is ready to put it back, and it is just electric.
Yeah, and no matter the corny nickname or not, like, sometimes you just need a corny nickname because dude can fly.
It's too good.
I like it. I personally like it.
You don't like Rush Hour, but you like Airplane Mode.
I like Airplane Mode much more than Rush Hour.
Although I was more of a proponent for War Machine for Warren, but that's because I'm a giant nerd, so there's other reasons for that.
That's fair. Okay. So, don't you guys think that this is probably terrible that Dragan Bender is out right now and he isn't part of this? That's been the only thing that's been bringing me down since we've come back from the All-Star break. This could be the perfect time for him to grow, and maybe that doesn't mean Big Sauce or Jones Jr. are getting quite the minutes they are right now, but he'd be big time for us. And that defensive presence that he brings, it's nothing flashy yet, but he'd make up for the lack of PJ a little bit with his ability to switch screens and just be in the right position defensively all the time. I don't know. He'd be great to have right now.
See, I don't think that we would be taking minutes away from Derrick Jones Jr. or Big Sauce. I think basically the role that Dudley's playing right now is what Bender would be doing, because they are similar players of perimeter defenders, kind of just stretch bigs. He would have the ball movement. He would do all those things. I think he would be doing what Jared Dudley would be doing right now. And I think we're using Jared Dudley specifically because we want to I think Watson's really trying to build that offensive scheme.
Yeah, and who better than having Dudley on the court to really help out an offense?
LB and Dudley, I mean, those are the veterans that you want, like, to help teach an offense to guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just recently I've been seeing Dudley make so many just the right passes, just the perfect pass. He'll find the backdoor cut. He's not afraid to try to fit one in there, and it's been paying off. And that's like what I've been saying. That's what makes ball fun. When you squeeze that pass in there that might not go through, but you get a dunk at the end of it. Right now in this season, totally worth the shot, worth the chance.
Oh yeah, take every risk you possibly can.
Yeah, and like we're not saying like Dudley doesn't make mistakes or anything, but like the brand of basketball that he plays is what he's done like just about his entire career since his first stint in Phoenix, really, I'll say, and that's why we brought him in.
So we're kind of blowing through the show here. I'm kind of surprised about that. I thought we'd be a lot more gabby because we're all sitting in the same room. But
Maybe it's because we've been gabby so much, just like outside of it, that we got onto the things. And it's like, all right, we've talked about it.
We should have just started recording while we were sitting in the living room last night, drinking a few hard sodas. Maybe that would have been the best time to put something out, or maybe the worst time, I guess.
Depending on.
So, like we've been talking about embracing the tank. Anything in particular you guys want to bring up?
I should have thought this through a little bit more.
Yeah, we maybe should have planned this episode a little better, but like I said...
To be fair, we had a plan, then we just got excited and blew through that plan.
Yeah. And those hard sodas probably got in the way of a little preparation last night.
A little bit of...
Maybe a bit, but...
I don't know. Well, what do you think? We're going to the Suns game tonight against the Thunder, so the three of us are all together.
So we're going to look into actually the crystal ball, and we're going to predict.
Ooh.
We're going to predict some stuff for this Thunder game, and you guys are going to tell us how wrong we were.
Ooh, yeah.
Win this post.
That's good.
That's good.
I like it. So what do we start off with? Do we start off with
I think we just start throwing things that probably will happen, and then maybe go a little bit more extreme.
Okay, so Sabonis drops 50, but the Suns still win. My dream situation.
Well, when two players drop 50 and the whole rest of the team doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
And I'm talking about Roberson right now.
Yeah,
so.
Sabonis and Roberson each drop 50. No one else on the Thunder scores. And Devin Booker scores 101 points, and we win.
Yeah, that's how it works. When you say it like that.
So here's my not so bold prediction, but I'm going to say that Russell Westbrook has a good day, doesn't have to pull out his AK, messes around, and gets a triple-double.
Nice.
Are those the lyrics? Did I nail that?
Yeah. You did good.
Pretty well. So, yeah, I'm saying we're going to see a triple-double out of Westbrook. What do you guys think?
10, 10, 10.
Just flat, the bare minimum, because Bledsoe's shutting him down.
10 blocks, 10 steals.
You know, I want to be really optimistic about some patented Bledsoe defense, but we have not been seeing that this year. So, yeah, I think that Westbrook will take advantage of some of our lack of rebounding since Tyson's been on the bench, and will definitely mess around. It may be a little bit angry. We were watching the end of that Portland game last night.
Yeah,
he was
Thursday night, whatever. And he was a little not happy. And I mean, when you score 45 points, you should be like getting production from the rest of your team, and the rest of his team is garbage.
Hey,
I love Steven Adams. Steven Adams is great.
What about that Sabonis guy?
Yeah,
I was just gonna skip like Sabonis entirely. I was gonna go next to Doug McDermott, and then and Roberson plays good defense. He just can't score. And Taj Gibson hit that three-quarter.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah, that was
shot.
Cool. Okay, but on a real note, what I want to see is at least one Derrick Jones Jr. dunk that makes me go, oh!
Yeah, that's fair. We're going to see that. I want to see that live.
He's been getting,
that's what
I think on average, 1.5 dunks a game since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can maintain that.
So we're looking for that half dunk. That's the real kicker.
Okay. So to answer, is Russ going to get a triple-double?
Yes, he is.
Yes. So we all think he'll get a triple-double. Will he continue the 40-point streak? Is it 4 games in a row now?
3 games.
3 games.
3 games. As of 3-3 at 3 o'clock. Almost 3:30. He is on a 3-game 40-point streak. Only players to have multiple 3-game 40-point streaks are Jordan, Moses Malone, and Kobe. So not bad company.
Bunch of trash players.
Yeah.
Only scoring in garbage time.
Yeah.
Hey, no, we're not talking about Devin Booker.
I want to address that. I've been meaning to say this the whole time I've been down here. And I think the people who are saying Devin Booker only scores in garbage time are 100% right, because the past 2 years of Suns basketball
has been garbage time.
So, yes, I guess that's true.
Just nonstop garbage time.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment.
So, yeah.
I don't think Westbrook scores 40. 35 or 37.
39.
Not 40.
Okay.
39 is my guess.
No, that'd be a Booker.
Twice in a row. I'm going to say he doesn't get it tonight, but this makes me think of one thing. How fast does Tyler Ulis get subbed out of the game if they bring in Westbrook at, like, say...
I think they call a timeout or, like, foul right away.
Instant. Just to save little Tyler. Save Tyler.
Yeah, we don't want to kill Tyler in his rookie year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Once he gets on the Big Sauce diet, then we can talk. But until then...
This podcast was brought to you by the Big Sauce Diet.
Mac and cheese and fried chicken. It's just...
Our first sponsor, the Big Sauce diet.
Yeah. I think for snack time, you dip Cheetos in butter. It's no fooling around.
Real talk. This has nothing to do with the Suns, but my grandpa, my good old Gramps, ate Cheetos with buttermilk like cereal. For real. This is like a legitimate meal that he, like, I don't know if he still eats to this day, but like...
Sorry to be dark here, but I'm surprised he's still alive if he eats that.
He's a grumpy, stubborn old man. I mean, they always live the longest.
You can just put anything in that gut.
Pretty
and
much.
It'll be fine.
He was an iron worker. Like, I mean, like, he's half robot right now.
That's
so.
fair. That's fair.
Okay.
But man, that's impressive.
Cheetos and buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
Wow.
I don't even think I've ever owned like a thing of like a jar or cup
You
of
don't want
buttermilk. I don't think. Man.
Yeah, that's
might
what we
just
do in
need
this
it.
podcast.
I
We
might
go
need
off on a tangent and then just get stuck on
You know
it.
what?
I might need a minute here. That's
Homemade
something.
corn dogs kind of sound good. Like, heat up some buttermilk. Isn't that how you do that? And you put
Where are
hot
you going
milk
with
on
this? How does this relate back to a t-shirt?
Or Cheetos.
Or Cheetos
The Cheetos
are warming up.
In the buttermilk cereal.
Mm-hmm.
Buttermilk. and
They're,
cheese.
I mean, technically they are warming up. They're getting back to room temperature.
I suppose we could make an even more obscure T-shirt.
You know what? If there wasn't cheese on Cheetos, it'd pretty much just be like a cereal, really, just like a corn pop.
Yeah.
Are we having this conversation?
Long, airy corn pop.
Like I said, we had to kill a little.
Hey
time.
man, welcome to Chuck's Corner. Did you know if Cheetos didn't have cheese on them, they'd just be a cereal?
But
Hey, I'm just spitting facts here. If you want to be upset about it, we can take this
crunchy
out
or
back.
puffs?
It'd be a chip.
No,
let's
no.
get off this. We're done. We're done. It's over.
I'm a
Stop.
puff man myself.
That's fair. Okay. Where do we go from this?
I thought we were doing predictions, and then you guys went completely off of that. Come on.
All right.
Get back to the topic.
Tonight, I predict that David's grandpa has a nice bowl of Cheerios and buttermilk. What are your guys' predictions? Okay, we'll get back to it for real. So, how did a joke about Tyler Ulis having to guard Russell Westbrook?
Because we talked about the Allen Williams Big Sauce.
Oh yeah. Oh
and then-
man.
Cheetos and butter.
We're okay.
We're there.
We're really out of okay.
It
How
was
about
a good
someone-
rabbit hole.
I can't get this out of my head. So could someone please maybe make a prediction for the game and we'll go after.
So I think that the second leading scorer for the Thunder is an interesting prediction. Is it going to be a vet like Taj Gibson or Steven Adams? Or is it going to be one of these young guys that still has a lot to prove, like Victor Oladipo or Doug McDermott? That's really my big question is who's going to be the second leading scorer for the Thunder? And really that's my question for a lot of the rest of the season. For this entire season, I've wondered who's going to be that second guy for the Thunder. And people keep on comparing the Rockets and the Thunder and how if the Rockets didn't have James Harden, like it's the same situation. And I don't know if they haven't seen a Rockets game.
Yeah, they got that Eric Gordon guy. Now they have that Lou Williams.
Like they have enough like 3-point.
Anderson.
They have enough 3-point shooting. Plus, they have Mike D'Antoni. I think they'd be okay. Whereas the Thunder have Russell Westbrook, and the reason that he's having to average a triple double is because no one else will.
Right.
Right.
So, my guess, based on the game we watched against who was it? Blazers.
It's Portland. Yeah.
So, I saw Taj Gibson pull out one of the better up and unders I've seen in a long time. And if we have Marquise Chris guarding him, I think he's going to get Marquise Chris jumping on everything if he's going to just be able to control the post like that and they're feeding him a little bit. So I'm going to go with Taj.
And that leads well into my prediction. I bet Marquise Chris fouls out.
Ooh.
I know that's not super bold, but
I think that if we're smart, we don't even put Marquise Chris on either Ennis Cantor or Taj Gibson. My guess is Ennis Cantor. He is back. He plays a ton of minutes for the Thunder. So I think he's going to probably be their second leading scorer. I think that if my bold prediction is that if one of those guys is on the floor, Marquise Chris is not guarding them.
right, but it works.
It'll be Alex Len, and they'll just
Yeah.
tell Alex Len not to get off those dudes.
It works out well because the way the Thunder spread out their minutes with Sabonis is similar to what we do with Chris, where they start him and then he plays like between 12 and 20 minutes a night. So
Yeah, but they're a playoff team, and we're playing Chris a lot more right now. So.
Right, that's Chris has been playing more, but like for the majority of the season, that's what we were doing with Chris too, and I imagine that's how we'll match up on defense to start.
That's fair. I have a big prediction for the Suns, and that prediction is that Bledsoe has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and wants to go toe-to-toe with Westbrook, kind of like he always does, but just can't get it there, and has a really rough stat line and a really rough shooting night.
So last year, I remember, I think it was a Dawkins YouTube clip. It was a battle between Westbrook and Bledsoe, and they both put up over 30 points. And that was probably at the time one of Bledsoe's best games. And I think that's kind of what started a lot of the hype about Bledsoe brings it when Westbrook comes to town. But, man,
Westbrook's on another level.
He's just on another level. If Bledsoe can hang with him, man, if Bledsoe keeps him under 30, and I don't even want to talk about rebounds or assists because those don't all have to do with Bledsoe. It's not really a man-on-man deal. But if Bled can keep Westbrook under 30 and Bled can score 20, that's a win for Bledsoe and the Suns.
It is. It is a big win, and it's not going to happen.
Right.
But it might.
These are bold predictions, so.
Yeah.
Do you have one last bold prediction, Mitch?
One last bold prediction. Let me think of one off the top of my head. Tyler Ulis scores more than 10 points.
Ooh.
I have no factual basis for that. It's just the first thing that came to my head.
Does Tyler Ulis one up his most assists in a game at 8? Does he one up that?
Good question.
Oh. Should I get real bold and predict?
You're having just as hard of a time saying predict as I was.
Predict a Tyler Ulis double-double, 10 and 10 assists.
Ooh.
I mean, we're getting close.
Great. We are getting close.
We're getting dangerously close, I feel like, every game. And not dangerously, like, in a bad way, like, obviously.
Yeah. I think you can take advantage of a rusty Norris Cole tonight, maybe.
Yeah.
Show him.
But that's NBA champion Norris Cole.
Oh, yeah. NBA champ.
China League.
The champ is here.
Actually, I don't even think he got signed by a China team like in China.
He was just hanging out. He was just doing what we did this afternoon.
Yeah, and what Archie Goodwin.
Yeah, but he has a lot more money than we do.
True.
Okay, well, I'll finish it with one more bold prediction. I predict that tonight, if you watch the post-game show, you will see a Cheese is Warming Up t-shirt somewhere in the background.
Yes.
That's a...
Go back in the past. Tell your past self.
Yeah.
Set your DVR in the past.
So, how about this? Since we made all these predictions and then this podcast is going to come out after the game, we would really appreciate it if you got a hold of us and said who made the dumbest prediction.
Yeah.
And then who had the best one.
Yeah, like which, maybe not necessarily like, I think a lot of us are on the same page on a couple of these. So like it could easily where we get right with one of those. I think who made the dumbest prediction is a really good one, and who was the most wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so we're going to be, you know how hectic it is at a stadium and that kind of thing after the game. It's going to be a while. We're going to be busy, so just give us those answers, we can check our phones. We'd like to see.
Except that they're not gonna. We won't be busy on like Tuesday when they actually listen to this.
Oh, yeah, I just cut that. I'm dumb.
Mitch is done. Well, if Mitch is done.
No, I said I'm dumb.
Oh, you're dumb. Well, then I'll stop that.
That transition was just all gone.
It was gonna be good though. So let's just say Mitch had said I'm done. So I'm gonna say, well, that must be a good time for all of us to be done. Let's wrap this thing up.
We're too excited to have a real podcast right now.
Yeah,
it's true. I am very excited.
All right, so let's just get through these social media plugs and then say bye.
We'll might secretly pretend like we're going to talk about what's going on next week, and we might start looking into some college conference championships. Maybe there's a little bit of predicting on that and talking about those kind of things. Looking into the globe as we looked just a second ago. The globe, the crystal ball. I don't know. I made some dumb joke that didn't resonate with anyone that listened.
Yeah. Well, you don't know that yet, but we'll see. But out of us, I don't think it resonated. So
it's not going to resonate with anyone. That's what happens with all the things I say. It's all good.
That's what makes you a hell of a podcast host. There we go.
No,
I can't talk either. So what am I saying? All right.
Let's just end this while we're ahead.
Twitter @Sunny and PHX Pod. Facebook, Phoenix Suns Multiple Sources. Email, sunnyandphxpod@gmail.com. Head over to the website at sunnyandphxpod.com and to the entire Multiple Sources blog and podcast network. We'll see you next week, and go Suns.